So you want to build a business. Where in the world do you even start? Well, today, we're unlocking the playbook. We've distilled a really powerful conversation between 3 of the internet's most successful entrepreneurs into clear, actionable steps that you can actually use.
Yeah, that quote pretty much sets the stage, right? This is a masterclass for anyone, and I mean anyone, who's on that path to building something of their own. So if you're ready to learn from the absolute best, let's just dive right in.
All right, first things first. The journey doesn't start with a brilliant product or some perfect business plan. Nope, it starts with a question, a really important one that you have to ask yourself. Do you actually have the right mindset for this?
It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? But the answers from our experts, well, they get right to the heart of what it really takes. So let's break down 2 really different ways of looking at this.
So on one side, you've got Alex Hormozi, who basically says entrepreneurship is super simple. Can you exchange a service for money? You know, if a teenager can go out and babysit for cash, you can start a business. But then Codie Sanchez comes in with a totally different take. She says it's not about the task at all, it's about your guts, your ability to take a punch, get back up, and learn something from it over and over again. And this is where it gets really interesting. The big insight here is that you don't have to avoid the pain. In fact, you should probably lean into it, but, and this is a big but, it has to be meaningful pain. The struggle suddenly becomes worth it when it's tied to a mission you genuinely, deeply care about. That's what turns the grind into a real driving force.
Okay, so you've looked inward, you've decided the pain is going to be meaningful, and you're ready for the ride. What's next? Well, you need an idea that's actually worth all that effort. So let's get you geared up with a few killer frameworks.
So how do you check if an idea has legs before you get way too attached to it? Well, private equity pros use this incredibly powerful tool, the MOATE framework. And look, this isn't just some boring checklist. It's a quick and dirty way to stress test your concept. Does it make money? Can it grow? Or are you just creating a job for yourself? Do you have an edge? And is the market even big enough? This thing separates a real business from a fun little hobby in like 5 minutes.
And check this out. This is huge when you're thinking about who to sell to. A full 60% of all disposable income is held by the top 10% of people. So while it might feel safer to try and sell cheap stuff to everybody, the real money, especially for our new business, is hiding in that affluent niche. That 9% who will happily pay for quality and passion, not just the lowest price tag.
So where do you even find an idea for that sweet spot, that affluent niche? The answer, honestly, is probably staring you right in the face. Just look at a pain you've already solved for yourself, a passion you're completely obsessed with, or a professional skill you've already mastered. Your unfair advantage is baked right in from the start. All right, you've got the mindset, you have a validated idea. Now comes the first real battle. Convincing another human being to actually pay you for it. Let's get into the secrets of the sale.
You want a simple, almost ridiculously effective tactic? Here it is. After you state your price and ask for the sale, just shut up. Seriously, wait 8 seconds. It's going to feel awkward, but studies show this one little pause can boost your closing rate by 30%. The first person to talk loses. Let the silence do the work for you. It's a power move.
This classic quote from the legendary Dan Kennedy just nails the mindset you need for pricing. So many new entrepreneurs basically sell from their own empty wallet, right? They price things way too low because they're terrified of hearing the word no. You have to price with confidence, and that often means charging way more than what feels comfortable.
And this story just illustrates that point perfectly. There was a home inspector. He was on the brink of going out of business, trying to serve everyone with cheap prices. The one change he made? He just added the word luxury to his business name and tripled his prices. Yeah, he lost some customers, but he started attracting wealthier clients who were way less hassle, and his profits just exploded. It's so often easier to sell something expensive to a few people than something cheap to a ton of people. Now, if you want a more structured way to handle sales calls, here's the closer framework. And look, this is not about some aggressive hard pitch. It's more like a roadmap for a conversation. It guides the customer to identify their own problem and then see your solution as the only logical next step. You're basically helping them sell themselves. It's brilliant. Okay, so getting those first few sales, that's one thing. But building a real long-term business that can scale, that's a whole other ballgame. That's where we move beyond just getting attention and start building real, actual influence.
This comparison says it all. I mean, think about it. Drake gets insane amounts of attention, but Rihanna is in a whole different league when it comes to net worth. Why? Because she didn't just chase views. She built a brand, Fenty, that created an audience with an intent to buy. That's the key. The goal isn't just attention. It's turning that attention into transactions.
So how do you actually build that kind of buyer intent? Well, your content, everything you put out there, it needs to project influence. This framework shows you the 4 key ingredients. When you can combine status, power, credibility, and likeness, you're not just making content anymore. You're building the kind of deep trust that makes people want to buy from you.
And this totally redefines what proof or credibility even means. You don't have to be some multimillionaire who sold a company to have it. Sure, you can get it through a huge achievement, but, and this is so empowering, you can also get it through just sheer massive effort. If you read 200 books on a single topic and then share what you learned, you've done the work that other people won't. And believe me, that is a powerful form of proof.
Okay, we've covered a ton. Mindset, ideas, sales, influence. Let's make this really concrete. Let's see how our experts would actually put all this into play if they were starting out with different amounts of cash.
So here's how the pros would play the game at 3 different levels. And I want you to notice the pattern here. It's not about what the money buys, it's about what it unlocks. At every single stage, the smartest move is to leverage something you have, your skills, your network, or someone else's reputation to completely de-risk your journey and get the biggest possible upside. You know, this whole journey, from your own mindset all the way to execution, it's really just a series of games you have to play. So the final question, it's for you. As you look at this playbook we just went through, which one of those games have you been undervaluing? Is it your mindset? Is it your pricing? Is it your ability to build real influence? Because the first step to winning is knowing which game you need to play next.